Hi, I'm Charlene Stevens, the City Administrator for the City of Cottage Grove. Joining me today for Council Update is Councilmember Jen Peterson. Today's topic is our flashing yellow lights over at the Jamaica and East Point Douglas intersection. So let's talk about this. This goes back to October, where there was some discussion by the City Council to improve the traffic flow at Jamaica and East Point Douglas.
Yeah, and this again, this really came from a lot of people in the community contacting the council and the city staff saying, you got to do something about that intersection. It's just a nightmare. And, you know, there's certain times of the day and certain weekends that it's really bad. And traffic there has increased since the Walmart came in 2013 of about 40%.
Sure. So as the community's grown, as community's development, the traffic has increased in that intersection. So.
And with more development expected there in that Walmart area, we can expect that that's going to continue. Okay. You know, and hopefully when the other end of that development happens with the changes on County Road 19, that will help relieve some of the traffic congestion and the traffic flow at the Jamaica and East Point Douglas Road, where people can come in and out of there a little bit easier. But in the meantime, we're going to try to figure out how to make this work better.
And so what's the goal with this, with the flashing yellow and arrows? And so our goal was to kind of reduce maybe some of that backup that's been occurring at Jamaica Avenue and at the Cub Food entrance and try to get vehicles through that intersection.
And you know, most people know that there's kind of a short distance between one signal light and the next signal light, and a lot of people turning and coming onto the road from the parking lot, so it really does get jammed up. And so the goal was to try to help move people through there a little bit quicker, so there wasn't the opportunity to get so backed up. And so we did implement some different timing things, and also the flashing yellow light there so people can turn. They won't have to wait for the green arrow anymore.
Right, because the flashing yellow does mean that drivers can turn. But they have to yield to oncoming traffic, and they have to yield to pedestrians as well.
And that's the thing that I think is hard for people to get used to, is they see the flashing yellow light, so they think they can just go. Right. But they have to yield to if there's oncoming traffic.
The oncoming traffic still has a green.
They have the right of way.
They still have the right of way.
And so people need to remember that when they're behind somebody that might be waiting to turn on a flashing yellow, that person might not have a good sight line of what's coming down the road. Sure. So people need to be patient and wait for them to make sure it's a safe time for them to go out in front of traffic, especially if they don't have a really good sight line. And I would encourage people to just wait. If you're not sure it's safe, don't go. Don't risk it.
And there is a green arrow that does occur. Correct, and that occurs by a vehicle being in the travel lane, in the left-hand turn lane, and the weight of the vehicle. And so if if a driver doesn't feel safe turning on the yellow, they can remain in the lane and of course wait for a green arrow to cycle through.
Yep, it'll come through the cycle.
Okay. And some of this is also, the city intends to continue to kind of monitor this at this intersection, as you talked about. There's kind of, as the city continues to grow, as development in that area continues to grow and traffic continues to grow through that area, as people try to get to those different shopping and shopping destinations. The city's going to continue to monitor that intersection and keep that intersection moving.
Right.
That's really what our goal is.
Yep. And so, there was talk about a couple different approaches that we might use, and there was talk about a roundabout at one point, and not right at that intersection, but a little further up, closer to the Cub and Target exit. So, with some right-ins, right-outs, all sorts of different opportunities that we're looking at. But it's being really well looked at by our city staff, and we have really good city staff that really know a lot about that. And
I know I go through that intersection a fair amount of time and such to shop in that area and such, and it does appear to be working. I think we initially maybe had some timing issues when it was first installed. And so if individuals were maybe frustrated with it when it was first installed, I think we've corrected those. And hopefully the traffic is easing in there and such. It is definitely, as you said, there's some short distances between a couple of intersections. But we are trying this, and it does appear to be at least improving the situation with what we can do right now.
Right. And so if people are out there and they're seeing strange things happening with the timing, devices can get messed up. I don't know if lightning can affect it or if power goes out, if that affects the timing. Let us know what you're seeing and maybe
and sometimes a car maybe isn't pulled up correctly in the intersection, may not have actually tripped the signal and such like it. So we would remind you. So again, for more information about the flashing yellow traffic signals at Jamaica and East Point Douglas, you can contact Cottage Grove City Hall or go to the city's website. Thank you, Councilmember Peterson.